CMSki, and we have now become 3, as you can see.
3 the hard way.
What does that mean? We wanted to share our story with you about how he came to be here. Well, you guys know how he came to be here. That's pretty basic. Okay.
So why, Crystal and Askias, did you decide to have your birth at a birthing center? Why?
I know, crazy, right?
Crazy.
There are basically 3 options for you when you become pregnant about where you can have your child. You can either do it at home, which is what people did for hundreds and hundreds, thousands of years. You could have your child at a hospital, which is what about 98% of people do in America. Or you can have your child at a birthing center, which is kind of a, it's like in between. So it has like a very home feel. At least ours did. It felt like a really nice hotel suite with like a big jacuzzi bathtub, a really spacious bathroom, and
very nice.
A comfortable bedroom.
I mean, I wanted to move in there. It was very nice. So.
And it also has some equipment that you probably don't have at your home.
You know, if you decide to have a baby, you are brave.
No matter where you do it.
Whether you have it at a hospital, at home, or birthing center, you know, it's a major deal. Just
medicated, unmedicated, cesarean, vaginal,
right,
whatever.
So this decision was solely for us.
So who was in the room when you delivered?
Who was in the room when CM delivered?
Yeah, so for the majority of the time it was just the midwife, her assistant who's trained to be a midwife, doula, and dad, parents.
Correct.
And of course the baby was there.
So shout out to Amy and Jessica in Atusa.
Yes.
Our doula, who was really good.
She's great too.
I'm really happy that she was there. And if any of you have any questions on what a doula is, you can comment below or text me or call me or whatever. When we first started with them, they were strangers. By the end of it, we were a family almost.
Absolutely.
So we shared in that joy of that day with them too. What advice would I have for new dads? Good question. Every moment is always, you know, where's the baby? Has he ate? Has he slept? Has he burped? It's always about baby, baby, baby. But, you know, you can't forget about your spouse too. And
that's nice advice.
Yeah, and you know, we need to still love each other and still be romantic and still do all the things that we did before the baby came out. Granted, things have changed, and you know, we'll work through that, but we still need to do us and still be a couple. Advice
I would have for new moms is to practice patience. If you give your spouse an opportunity to do things, they'll get better at it. But if you just kind of take over and say like, oh no, you're doing it wrong, let me do it, eventually, you know, they might get discouraged and decide, well fine, like if you think you're the expert changing diapers, why don't you do it? And the next thing you know, you're changing all the diapers because you decided you were the master of changing the diapers. So don't paint yourself into that corner. Unless your partner is like throwing the baby into a fire, trust them to kind of do their thing.
I'm like a black belt in changing diapers.
He calls it, whenever it's time to change his diaper, he's like, let me get my tools.
Why did you wait to decide to know the sex of the baby, and how'd you plan for that? I get that question probably the most. Yeah. Like, how did you do it? Like, I would have loved to have known. I couldn't wait.
Yeah. To be fair, it was my decision, and Ski initially did not want to wait, and then he kind of went along with it. And then once we did do it, I think he was glad that we waited. Were you glad?
Yeah, I was glad. I was glad because, you know, it was a great surprise.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun surprise.
It just made that day all the more like exciting because like, what do we have in it? Like, what's behind that curtain? Is it a boy? Is it a girl? Just, it was great. Yeah. So
it was a fun surprise, and interestingly enough, once you go through labor, you almost don't even care. One thing that people say about that is like, how do you plan? Like, how do you know what to do if you don't know if it's a boy or a girl? I don't think anything changed afterward. Like, there was nothing different that we had to do once we were like, okay, now it's a boy, so we're gonna use these kind of diapers. I mean, what you need those first few weeks really doesn't matter depending on the sex of the child.
I mean, you can see behind us, we have like, you know,
lots of gender neutral clothes.
The baby rack behind us because we live in LA, and you know, space here is, you know, But the clothes here are gender neutral. It can be for anybody: whites, greens, yellows, reds.
Yep.
We don't have to put the baby in, you know, light blue or hot pink. What resources, if any, did you use?
You mean like to prepare?
Yep.
Okay. So I read several books. The one I recommend most, if you only read one book, is called Expecting Better. It's by Emily Oster. I actually don't have a copy right here because I gave mine to someone, but we'll show an image here. And it is a book by an economist where she literally took all of the advice that you give to pregnant women, like you shouldn't drink coffee, you shouldn't drink alcohol, or you should get this test taken, or you should do this type of birth. And she pulled together all of the information and said, this is why you can actually get away with having like a glass of wine. Another one that I got actually for ski was Diaper Dude. What do you think? Actually, I didn't read it, so.
It was a good book. You know, it definitely spoke my language of just, you know, talking.
The Ultimate Dad's Guide to Surviving the First 2 Years.
Yeah, I felt like he was just talking directly to me. And it was a super easy read, and it was funny.
Another one I read is Ina May's Guide to Childbirth. This one is one, I will just be 100% honest with you. She's definitely on the extreme side as far as natural versus a medicated birth. So if you plan on having a natural birth and you don't plan on using an epidural, I strongly recommend it. Whew, that was a lot of talking. Well, the kid's getting a little ornery, so we're going to wrap this up. And we know you just wanted to see him anyway. Please subscribe. We're hoping to share more soon. Love y'all.